happy to be. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
Aw, yeah, it's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
You're going back to Camp Blood, ain't ya?
This is evil.
in the back room. And again, we are continuing our arduous trek through Camp Blood, if you will. Another week, another podcast, and a shitload more bodies this week. Goddamn.
Do they not bullshit when they say the body count continues? Does it continue and then some?
Holy moly. There are a lot of dead bodies. And, you know, let's go ahead. The cat's out of the bag. Tom Savini did not return to do the effects for part 2 because I believe he was doing The Burning, which is a Friday the 13th ripoff.
So he was doing a ripoff of a ripoff. And like, now I'm going to do the other ripoff this week.
And I gotta say, you know, as iconic as the effects are in The Burning, because they're really good, you know, don't get me wrong, they're awesome. Mm-hmm. But boy howdy, the effects in Friday the 13th Part 2 don't get enough love. They're pretty reserved as far as like splatter goes, but there's some good stuff.
Well, because I don't remember any of it being on the first movie, but I remember it being in this one where they weren't getting like excessively dragged over the coals with the R rating, blood splatter and stuff like they would like with Part 7, let's say. Mm-hmm. But I know that there were stories where things started here, like the infamous shish kebab kill that we get in this one was initially supposed to be longer and more like the girl underneath is trying to push dude off, but can't because they're fucking skewered together. So I can't remember if that was 100% like either it was too much and they decided not to, or they're like, we can't quite do that. That's a bit much. We probably can't squeeze an R rating in with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, gonna go ahead and call it out. They say they never saw Bay of Blood, aka Twitch of the Death Nerve, the Mario Bava film. But I'm gonna call them out on it. That kill is almost fucking verbatim, dude.
I don't know, man. I mean, do you believe Adam Green with the Nightbreed and his movie?
I don't know what you're talking about. That he had never seen Nightbreed?
That he wasn't tying Nightbreed to, I'm blanking on the fucking title.
Digging Up the Marrow?
Yeah, Digging Up the Marrow. Like, that someone's like, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two, and he's like, fuck, I didn't think about that.
No, I don't believe that at all. He knew. He's, you know what I mean? He's a Nightbreed fan. How do you let
I'm
that
sure, but
do a whole movie?
Sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees, man. Sometimes you're like, fuck, we did make that movie.
Yeah,
like I'm sure some people might be saying when Tapehead's done, they're like, a little bit of Hatchet in there, huh? And they're like, I guess so.
Oh yeah, well I'm not gonna lie about that. Straight up.
Oh, we're on record now. We're like, it's like Hatchet, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's fun like Hatchet. So we're back at not Camp Nobi Bosco this time. Filmed in a completely different location. And this is supposedly the other side of the lake. This is a counselor training grounds, which...
Yeah, we train them on one side. We train them on this side of the lake, and then they're working on the other side of the lake. Don't cross those streams either. Don't let no trainees be wandering over into the professional grounds.
Mm-hmm. Which doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense that there's so many camp... How big is this fucking lake, right? Like, so many camp-related things.
It's big enough to have campgrounds, training grounds for campgrounds, and summer homes. We'll find out.
Yes, apparently. So...
also, halfway house is not too far away either.
Yeah, walking distance or dirt bike distance.
Yeah. You can get anywhere on a dirt bike in Crystal Lake.
Which, damn it, why didn't we get dirt bikes in the Friday the 13th game? But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother podcast episode.
We didn't get a lot of things in Friday the 13th the game. Thanks, Friday the 13th the game lawsuit and whoever's responsible. I can't say one party.
Fuck you, Victor Miller. No.
We already made that video, sir.
Yeah, I already cried about that. I'm not gonna cry about it too much. I'm just, hopefully it all resolves itself and the fans can finally get some stuff that isn't just, fan
One of
films.
these days, I don't know what's going to be longer, the decade before Freddy vs. Jason or before we actually have a Friday the 13th lawsuit that's settled, because I thought for sure a year ago that this shit would have been done by now, because fucking Halloween coming out and just taking the slasher genre back. It's like they're missing on money, but of course here we are gearing up for Halloween Kills in a couple months. So I mean, there's still time, but they're just leaving money on the table.
They are, and that's just negligence. Shake hands, deal with it, agree, disagree, whatever. Give whoever the amount of money they want, and shut the fuck up. It's a giant cash cow. But I didn't go to law school. I'm a fucking idiot, so I don't know anything. But what I do know is we're covering Friday the 13th Part 2, and now we actually do get Jason. Muddy as it is, it's still awesome. So, Evil, you want to give the folks at home a brief plot synopsis of what goes down in Friday the 13th Part 2, and then we'll start talking.
Well, this movie takes place a whole 5 years after the events of the first film.
After present day. So 2026?
Yeah, it's been 2026 this movie's taking place. And apparently 5 years after, Alice is still having the most violent of night terror dreams.
That recap an entire movie.
Yeah, that recaps the entire... We're going to deal with a lot of that for the first several movies, as we're going to get previously on Friday the 13th stories. It's going to be very much soap opera-esque in the opening. So
yes.
If you haven't seen the previous movie, don't fucking worry. We'll catch you up. We will definitely catch you up. But apparently, Jason is a real, full-grown man now, somehow, some way. Decides to follow Alice from wherever the fuck she is to wherever she ends up. And stabs her with a screwdriver on the side of the head. Ice pick. Looks like a screwdriver to me. And then returns to his shanty shack in the woods of Crystal Lake, to where kids are getting trained to be counselors. I don't know what the fuck for or why still. They're like, shit, kids died here. Kids tried to reopen this shit. More kids died here. Like, fuck it, we're going to keep trying. Like, if a serial killer house gets raided, they just tear that fucking thing down. Yeah. But this lake is like, nope, we're going to try to keep fucking operating regardless of what's going on.
Apparently the mayor of Crystal Lake is the fucking mayor of Jaws. Like,
yeah.
Summer camps is how we make our money.
Summer dollars. We need summer dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this training ground for all these counselors, and there's a fucking army of them.
Yeah, there are.
And you're thinking, holy Jesus, Jason's got a lot of work cut out for him. But thankfully, half of these kids go into the local watering hole / gambling establishment. So that takes half of the crew out, which leaves a more kind of,
conservative number.
Yeah, a conservative number of counselors for Jason to hack and slash his way through with his Phantom Killer getup, which it was inspired by the Texarkana Phantom Killer with the sack on the head, running around with one eye hole, doing his thing. And then, just like the previous movie, we end in a nice slow motion bit where Jason's gonna get hacked with a machete. We think he's dead, and then we get that last jump scare, and we wonder, where the fuck is Paul?
Let's go ahead. Let's address it. Do you think Paul's dead? I'm gonna say Paul's dead.
I have no fucking idea because
who's Paul?
I don't know. Yeah, who the fuck is Paul? Someone's in the fucking room, Paul. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know in this movie. Like, who the fuck's dog is that is ripped open and apart? Is that one of Michael Myers' fucking meals? Did he get hungry around Camp Crystal Lake?
That wasn't a dog, even though it has the same fucking ribbon in the hair and everything. Muffin the dog.
Is the jump through the window, did that really happen? Did it not really happen? How did Jason change his entire wardrobe and lose his tufts of hair between parts 2 and 3, which
Cancer.
is essentially no time has passed, but that's something to bring up when we get to the next
I was
movie.
gonna say he's real self-conscious about it, and you brought it up, you dick. He's got melanoma.
He's very mountain man looking esque. He looks like between like a Bigfoot and the hills have eyes kind of look with when he has that sack pulled off his head. But when he's wearing that sack, of course, they're totally ripping off the Phantom Killer from the Town That Dreaded Sundown, because that was an underground kind of hit, real killer that kind of did shit around the area, had the same sack on his head. So like, let's just take that and use that as an idea. It works. It's effective. It's effective. I have no idea how Jason goes from a child that is supposedly dead to a full-grown adult, unless I'm going under that mindset of, well, just like in the reboot, that he didn't die, that he washed downstream, came out of the lake, and then just lived in the fucking woods because he's
too stupid to get home.
Challenged. Yeah, he's a mentally challenged boy and decides to live in the woods for the rest of his life, off the land, and steal shit and build his own shack out in the woods with his own. I don't know how the fuck he got a toilet all the way out there.
Stole it from Nobi Bosco or what the fuck ever.
Yeah, he has his retarded strength just ripping a toilet off of the fucking ground and take this home and poop in it.
Which, that's the other thing is, like, why wouldn't he just live in the abandoned Camp Crystal Lake campground?
Why wouldn't you build a latrine kind of thing? What are you going to do shitting in a toilet out in the woods? They don't have no pipelines.
That's what I'm saying. Why didn't he just, why wouldn't he just, inhabit one of the cabins at Camp Crystal Lake? Because there was a bathhouse. He killed, what's her name? Vicky or Sally or whatever the fuck her name was. Sally.
He killed Vicky and Sally.
Yeah, Vicky, Sally. He killed them all. But, no. Jason is, in this movie, like you said, he's got a mountain man look. But there's a certain level of intelligence to him. Which, one thing you got to think of is, like you said, he built a house. So he was smart enough to build some form of shelter. And he's smart enough to understand the fact that his mom is dead and built a shrine for her and go miles away to exact revenge. But then he's also smart enough to be very Pamela Voorhees-esque. It's not Jason Voorhees-esque, it's Pamela Voorhees, because she did it first. Stringing up bodies and using them as, kind of his own little twisted amusement to jolt survivors that come across these bodies.
Yeah, he may not have the ability to drive a car or problem-solving skills or realize that yanking a toilet out of the bathroom is not going to provide you with a bathroom in the middle of the fucking woods. But by golly, he knows how to slice up a teenager and string him up in a tree kind of thing.
Damn right.
He knows how to put a snare out for people to get caught up in.
Goddamn Paul and his wilderness shit.
Yeah, no, that's not Paul.
No, that was Mr. Voorhees himself.
That's Mr. Voorhees, and this is, for the next several films, we're going to get a motif where you're going to see Jason running. And there's a divide between fans. There's fans that like running Jason, that think that's more scary, and there's some that like the methodic, stalking, one-speed Jason that just has his morphing capabilities.
Where do you stand on that?
Just like the Monster Squad and Goonies thing, I can be in both camps.
Right, it depends on the film, right? So it's okay.
Yeah, like there's this and the next movie have one scene where he's running and it's creepy and really fucking like unnerving to me. And this one, it's when you see him in through the window of his shack and he's running towards the shack. And your character on screen has no idea this thing is barreling towards him at 100 miles an hour. That's uber effective. And I like in the next one where the dream sequence where he's looking out the window.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And blows through the door. That's good running Jason. Mm-hmm. The rest of the time running Jason, not as much. He wouldn't be creepy running again until we get to the remake.
I disagree. I'm a Ted White guy, so I like all the running. Or kind of trotting that he does because he takes the knee injury. Yeah, because he takes the knee injury in 3. So,
football injury.
So
He scored 4 touchdowns in one game for Polk High.
fucking go Polk High, Married with Children reference, deep cut. And yeah, so in this movie, he's very vulnerable. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, you get to the later Friday films, and he gets into boxing.
Chips in that armor.
Yeah, he gets in a boxing match and he just takes it or whatever. But in this movie, a well-placed knee to the groin puts him down, and he can be outran and he can be tricked.
You can only see one eye, but that eye is terrified when that chainsaw is coming after him. He's like, shit, 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 shit.
Yeah. Like, I fucked up. I don't want no part of this shit, Ricky Bobby.
But this also is where we get a little bit of the supernatural or incredibly insane athlete Jason, because as Cult 45, when they did their review of these movies, brought up one of the most infamous kills in the fucking franchise, and they will play the shit out of this in the future movies.
Yes, they will.
Is the dude in the wheelchair who is looking one direction, hears something behind him, then gets a machete to the face somehow. So we're assuming Jason did a fucking flip jump over the wheelchair, impaled this kid in the face with a machete, and then the kid proceeds to fall down the Surf Ninjas level amount of stairs that just go on forever
and ever.
And it's an incredible shot, and that's the only times I bet something just didn't happen or work right towards the end of that, because they just freeze frame at one point and shriek to white. Something they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, something they don't really do in the rest of the kills at all in the series, but they did right there, and it's effective. But I'm like, what the fuck went wrong? At
that body
point?
fell off of that fucking wheelchair, straight up.
Oh, we can tell it's a dummy. Just cut it there.
Yeah. Oh man, but that is one of the most effective kills in the movie. And you're right, when you break it down and analyze it, it's like, well, where was Jason? Because in the geography of that porch, which I'm going to go back to the game because we've explored that porch. It's a straight shot. So
yeah, and it's
there's
elevated.
There's no place for him to have hidden unless he came out of the door. Super ninja quiet.
He crawled up the side of the siding, and then he's actually facing dude, and he throws a rock over to get his attention to look behind him, and then he just runs full blast and throws the machete at the last second.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real game of chance.
Yeah, it's like, when you break it down logistically, it is the most nonsensical fucking kill in the franchise, really. It's like, what the fuck? Where did that even come from? But this movie is not unlike the original, with the fact that it does do a lot of POV shots, a lot of just Jason's hands, or a lot of just the characters looking at the camera and screaming. And it's not until later in the film where we get more of an ironclad look at Jason. Sure, we get glimpses, like when the police officer is killed and Jason kind of does the run across the street or whatever.
They totally pull off some Patterson Gimli Bigfoot footage with him just scampering across the road. Like,
what was that?
What the fuck was that? If I was that sheriff, I just would have kept fucking going, man. Why am I going to stop my car and chase after that in the woods?
Yeah,
plus that dude hasn't run in at least 20 years, so he's not going to catch this dude.
I love when he stops by the puddle and wipes the sweat from his brow. That's probably my favorite thing, because it's like beat.
We should just re-edit that and reinsert the kid from Little Giants, the one that breathes all fucking weird and heavy, like, hey, 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 and just cut that into that fucking sheriff running.
That's awesome. But it does do that a lot in this movie, where it's quick glimpses of Jason. They really don't blow their wad early in this movie. It's not until Jason Lives where Jason is on camera a bunch and like in broad daylight and things like that. So this movie does a really good job of kind of building the suspense. And then also, like you said, we get the previously on Friday the 13th thing at the beginning with Alice's dream sequence, flashback, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then
Her night terror.
we get our first campfire tale of Jason in this movie.
Yeah, that's another shot that they'll use, that tidbit scene for many movies to come, because it's a fun little shot, good storytelling of a campfire tale.
I'm gonna give it to
And
you
it
straight
sets-
about Jason.
Yeah, it sets a good campy tone for everything, and then you're introduced into this new group of meat that's going to be dispatched in this movie, which includes our lead there, Paul. We got our wheelchair dude,
Mark.
the chick who, Mark, the chick who wants to bang the wheelchair dude.
I just call her. I think her name's Sandra. No, Sandra's the other girl, but she's just brown panties. You know,
Which I had to clarify it for Colt, and I'll do it again here. It's like she had the brown. She changed into the brown undergarments
satin panties.
because the colors matched, and that's a weird thing that is important to some females. Is I may have this color bra, these color drawers, but they need to match to give a good first impression.
That's weird. But then, she sprays perfume on her hoo-ha. So, like...
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah, but it stings a little.
Pain comes with a little bit of pleasure, man.
Is this Hellraiser? What's happening?
He's not wrong.
What's your pleasure, sir? You like to spray
Perfume on my nuts.
perfume on the hoo-ha?
Cheap as possible, please.
Yeah, that dollar store fucking perfume.
Yeah, if you can get it, you can get a gallon for under $5. That'd be sweet.
And that's another thing that I never really caught onto until I was a little bit older. The fact that Paul goes to sleep with Jenny, and then the next morning she wakes up and he writes in lipstick on the mirror, beware of bears, is because they didn't get to sleep together because she was on her period. And that flew over my head for fucking years, and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Or she denied him, and he's all fucking butthurt the next day. He's like, you must be fucking right. Beware of bears, bitch, not giving me none. Yeah.
Paul is kind of a little bitch, just to be, honest about it.
You just brought her up, and she's cool. I have nothing against her, but I had no idea that Jenny has such the fucking fan base that so many people are like, that is our favorite final girl of this franchise.
Oh, Amy
I can
Steele,
kind of
man.
get it. She's got some Nancy qualities from Nightmare on Elm Street. She's very problem-solving-esque and facing things, but I had no idea of all the females that come and go in this series that a lot of people are like, Jenny is our true and blue final girl.
Well, and she's, I hate to be that guy, but, she's very attractive. And that kind of will persuade you a little bit. She's easy on the eyes. She's very sympathetic towards the fact that he might still be out there. That whole scene at the bar, and she figures it out, and she outsmarts him. She's she is very Nancy in that aspect, right? She's the first person to trick Jason. So yeah, I can totally see that.
Which will sidetrack slowly a little bit here into something we'll talk about when we get to the game, but we use her and a reference when we're playing Friday the 13th, the game, because the campground that they use here is in the movie is called the Packanack campsite, the Packanack Lodge, which they copy to the letter for the game. Mm-hmm. And the cabin just outside of where the big Packanack Lodge is, there's a certain staircase to this cabin that if you were to, let's say, hijack one of the cars and park it in front of the stairs, you can jump through a window, and Jason is kind of fucked. He can't come in and kill you. And we've affectionately referred to that now as the child psychology cabin.
Yes.
Whenever we're referencing, we haven't named any other cabins anywhere else in the entire game, but we did reference, like, where are you at? I'm like, near child psychology. Okay.
Yep, and that is one of the funnest things to do is to park a car there and just make Jason wait the time out because there's nothing he can do. Can't do shit, and it's glorious. We have exposed him.
You don't want us exposing him. We were talking just about Jenny being the ultimate fan favorite final girl of a lot of people in the series. So I don't know how she ranks on yours.
She's up there, but I mean, we'll get into that in some other episodes because my favorite final girls down the road.
Not happened yet.
Yeah, not happened yet. But
I don't know if we'll get to a official ranking of the whole series. Maybe we'll try that when we get to the very, very end. But this is not far behind the first movie as far as much as I get to watching it. It's not a bad movie. Don't have nothing against it. Enjoy it when I do watch it. But it's not also when I get to a great number of times. It is Jason, and it's got the Jason setup and formula, but I don't know, for unknown reasons I can't.
It's just the mask, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't get to it as much as the other ones do. So it's right behind the first movie as far as the ones that I rewatch.
I watched 2 quite a bit. I think 3 is probably pretty low on my totem pole. But what I was going to say is let's just go ahead and let's debate this right now. Does Jenny pee under the bed, or is that rat pee?
Oh.
Because I think we've talked about this off air.
That is straight up Jenny piss.
Jenny
I don't
piss.
know how much a rat piss does, but
how much a rat pisses.
I don't know how much a rat pisses, but it cannot be that much. And why would he get all the way there? And then rats piss with, like, if they're scared or some shit. That rat doesn't give a fuck. Jenny is scared as fuck, so that's Jenny pissing herself there. Mm-hmm. I don't know who's
All right,
debating.
all right, well.
Whoever's debating that it's not Jenny's piss, you're full of shit. That is Jenny
Which,
piss.
this is another one of my all-time favorite scenes in any Friday the 13th, really, is Jason being super cunning, air quotes, by standing on top of that chair. Oh my God, I love it.
Something you wouldn't see Kane Hodder doing at all.
No, he would break that chair in half and stab the legs through the bed and kill Jenny.
Yeah, I would love to see Kane Hodder's Part 7 Jason standing on a fucking chair to fool somebody that's underneath a bed. Like,
On Nimbly Bimbly.
yeah, like standing on one leg, balancing the other leg in the air, like some fucking Karate Kid shit, ready to drop like a high knee down on the neck or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
You're
it's
picturing
one of those
it.
scenes where
Just take that moment
Yeah,
and then
it's-
digest that and picture it.
it's just one of those scenes where you're like, man, that is some silly shit. But I will say, with like my memories of the Friday the 13th franchise, this is like, we go back to like the summer when I was about 9 or 10 years old. This would always be included in like the Rhonda Shear or Gilbert Godfrey or even Joe Bob. Whenever he would do like a bunch of Friday the 13ths, 2 would be one of them. It would go 1, 2, and whatever else. But that's how I would always, like, my Friday night or my Saturday night, I would get all settled in for a Friday the 13th marathon. And so I just remember watching this TV edit of this so many times until it had to have been Halloween in around that time when I was either 9, 10, somewhere around there, and convincing my parents to let me get Friday the 13th Part 2 on VHS so then I could finally see it uncut. But so growing up, around that time, from 9, 10 years old, I watched Part 2 religiously. So it does have a very special place in my heart. And my first wife really liked Friday the 13th Part 2. So it was like, which one do you want to watch? I want to watch Part 2. Okay. And I don't know whether that was because, Paul was a handsome man, or it was because it's got some really decent nudity, like full frontal nudity in Friday the 13th Part 2. So, I don't know.
I can't even remember when I got to this movie first, because I know my first movies I saw were like my mom's friend had a bunch of things on tape, and occasionally I would get to borrow them. And I know I started with part 5, 3, and 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out in a really weird section. So it never, ever, ever, ever bothered me that Jason wasn't Jason when we get to part 5, because that's where I started with. I was like, oh,
Right.
maybe it's like fucking Scooby-Doo. There's a different guy as Jason every fucking week. Like, who is it this time? Oh, shit.
Yep. Oh, it's Roy Burns.
Oh, those pesky kids throwing me off onto the combine. So,
Hey, man, yeah, but we'll get to 5, but 5 is fucking awesome.
oh,
so-
yes, we will love the shit out of 5 when we get there. But I cannot place when I got to see part 2 for the first time. It's in a real blurry area where I'm like, I have no idea when I got to it. And I have had the chance to see this in a theater setting once or twice, and it's again, it's not a bad movie. It's just one I don't get to a great deal of times. I don't know why.
See, and my brain is hazy because you're talking about seeing it in theaters. Did we see it in theaters together? What 3 Fridays in a row did we watch in that marathon?
See, that's where I'm like, fuck, I know we saw Jason X and the remake.
And the remake, yeah.
I don't know what the first one was. It could have been 2, or it probably was 4.
I think, no, it was 4. It was 4. It was 4. Okay.
I was like,
so
4
we've
sounds
seen-
like it is a strong possibility, because that's an early, like, a lot of, like, if you have the chance to, like, have a screening of these movies, and it's within the first half of the series, a lot of times it's like, we're going to show parts 2 and 4, because those seem to be fan favorites of the early ones.
For sure. Yeah, because they're the changing of the guard, right? You got
Yeah.
Friday 2, where we first get Jason, and so he's Baghead Jason, and then you get part 4, where it's like the mask is already established, so every time you see him, it's masked Jason, and it's a much more fun movie than part 3. I'm just gonna say it. Part 4 is, I don't know what it is, man, but part 4 is rapid fire fun, and part 3 it plods a little bit. And I think that's just because it feels older, which we've talked about on numerous occasions about some of these Friday the 13th movies. Like, how does Friday the 13th part 6 feel like it came out after Friday the 13th part 7? Part 7 has a very, like, muted tone, like, color-wise, and doesn't seem so vibrant and MTV-esque. And Jason Lives is so vibrant and fun, it just seems newer. Seems like a 90s movie, even though it was 86.
That's the difference between McLaughlin and Mr. Beekler on that. But
Yep.
I did get to see this in the theater. It was a double feature at the local theater. They had a summer camp night theme, so it was this and Sleepaway Camp was the double feature.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, and then a separate time they played this at the same theater. So we got to see. I watched about half of it that time because it was a multi-movie screening thing. At the time we were doing the Men Behind the Masks thing, so we'd wrapped up and went into the theater, and it was a really small theater, and we didn't stay for the whole thing because they didn't have the volume adjusted like well for my old man ears, so it was really fucking loud. So I was like, I don't know if I want to sit through this whole movie in this tiny theater while these things are it's too loud. It's supposed to be that loud.
If it's too loud, you're too old. Well, we're old.
I'm too old. Like this is uncomfortable, man.
But are my ears supposed to be bleeding? You're being a little rough with my stuff.
I'm just put on some Hootie and the Blowfish or something. This is too much for me to handle. And this is the infamous, we have 2 guys, well, one guy mostly playing Jason, and then another guy coming in for the stunt work. And for a number of years...
And then running with it, yeah.
The guy that did the stunt jump at the end. I'm blanking on that dude's name.
Warrington Gillette.
Yeah, because I'm always like Warrington Gillette, like the fucking razor blade, like the Gillette company. Yeah, he did the jump through the window bit, and then he kind of ran with I was fucking Jason the whole time. And then we have Steve Dash.
The man.
R.I.P. Steve Dash, which that's not even his like full last name, like his real...
Dashowitz.
Yeah, it's like it's a long name, but he's like, just call me Steve Dash. Such a no bullshit kind of guy too, which we'll tell this story with progressively with when we get to it. But we we were both fans of watching Horace Hallowed Ground, some of these YouTube shows. And Adam Green had a show where he did a Scary Sleepover. And he had Derek Mears on the show, who had ended up playing Jason in the remake. He ended up buying some those edible crickets that are flavored crickets and eating them on the show. So we thought that would be a goofy thing to do, to bring to different Jason characters and Friday the 13th characters to see if they would eat random edible insects and bugs with us. And we'll get to it when we tried this with several of the stars of this series, including Kane, CJ, Derek, and Rob from part 4. But at the point we got to Steve Dash, we tried to, was it the tarantula or the scorpion? I don't remember. We didn't get the tarantula, it was the scorpion.
It was scorpions. It was scorpions.
It was these little scorpions, and we rolled up to him, and he's as cool as shit too, like almost mob level, like a cool level guy. Like, we're like, you feel free to say no to this, and then we started explaining, like, we've done this thing with Jason's where we eat these edible bugs for pictures and stuff, and would you, and we didn't even finish it, like our proposal, and he's shaking his head, no, fuck no, I'm not doing none of that.
I ain't eating no fucking bugs.
I'm not eating no fucking bugs, this stupid bullshit. Who knows what he was saying to his fucking handler after we left. Like, you believe this fucking shit? People want me to eat goddamn bugs and stuff. I come here for this. This is what I come here for. People gonna pay me money to eat bugs with me and shit.
God, it was glorious. But dude, yeah, going back to the Warrington Gillette thing. Now, I want to take you back to high school, right? When I was in high school,
Yes.
and I think the website still stands, but it was FridayThe13thFilms.com. And on that website, it had, like, you know, cast and crew of each movie. Certain stars had email addresses and stuff. It had Jason's body count, had all this cool stuff, behind the scenes photos, whatnot. On that website, I can remember it clear as day because I printed out all the people, like, who played Jason. And on that website, when I was in high school, that's all it said was Warrington Gillette was Jason in Friday the 13th Part 2. So that got to be one of those things where I would, like, in high school, I would go Ari Lehman, Warrington Gillette, Richard Brooker, Ted White, Dick Weenan, CJ Graham, Kane Hodder. You know what I mean? I would just say their names over and over again. Like, this is who did this, this is who did this, this is who did this. And it wasn't until, I think, either his name was Jason, because that was first, right? His name was Jason was first, then Crystal Lake Memories. Gave me the kind of glimpse into the fact that Steve Dash was even a person. Because, like, I don't remember ever hearing anything about him when I was in high school.
Quick sidebar, the FridayThe13thFilms.com website cannot be reached at this time.
Oh, boom.
So I could just have bad internet right there, but as far as my phone is telling me, that is not something I can access.
Because, dude, I lived on that site when I was in high school because it had a forum.
See,
a message board, you know, and I'd be like, oh.
I would be post-high school. I lived on the Fangoria news page waiting for the information on Freddy vs. Jason, and here seeing the post of Kane Hodder is officially out of the movie, and you're like, and then I would take 14 days to download the 3-minute trailer and just watch it over and over again, then delete it, and the next day have to download that 14 hours all over again.
My favorite was when you would download it to play on the real player, but it had to download each time you clicked play.
Yep.
And the screen was like 2 inches. You couldn't make it any bigger.
No bigger, but god damn it, I would sit there for hours and be like, it's gonna be awesome when it's done. I'm gonna watch it again.
It's gonna be so fucking sweet. See, it's a wonder. And we've always been separated by miles, but god damn it, if we would have just connected on one of those message boards, the friendship could have been 20 years strong.
We'd still be in the same place I think we are right now. I don't think much is. We did a lot of catching up in the time frame that was missed.
You might have bunk beds if we had met in 2003.
I had bunk beds back then. I was the only one in the house, so like, it's for when I have a friend that ever wants to come over and stay the night. I don't know who it's going to be, but one of these days someone will come over. I'm going to just rotate bunks.
I had bunk beds when I was when I was like 12. I had bunk beds in case I had a friend, and I never had a friend.
Yup. I eventually would just sleep on the bottom bunk, and I'd drape sheets over the top bunk. So it's
make
like
a fort.
Yep,
It's a fort.
Make my cheap ass fort out of it, and just put my little TV that I occasionally get at the end of it on a little table.
We totally got sidetracked from Friday too, but listen, I did the same thing, and I can remember a very specific weekend. USA was playing Child's Play 2 and 3, and I can remember being in my fort of my bunk bed watching Child's Play 2 and 3 back to back. I remember that like it was fucking yesterday.
My closest I can claim to that exact feeling is I was sick for like 3 days home with like a cold bug, and I was watching Stephen King's The Stand.
It took 3 days to watch this thing.
Just laying in bed miserable on my bunk bed fort watching The Stand on a little like fucking 8-inch TV.
When I was a kid, I used to lay in my twin-sized bed, wonder where my brother was. Oh, God damn it. All right, back to Friday the 13th, part 2.
Speaking of people, well, I was going to say, speaking of more people, I can't remember their fucking names, but the dude that's in this and is also in Christine that lives.
Stu Charno.
Yeah, like the fucking goofy party guy. The dude who plays the practical joke. He is destined to die, but that dude escapes this movie and Christine. He lives through both movies. And that dude is part of the protocol of someone that's supposed to die. He's in the costume and jumps out and scares everyone. Like, that dude's clearly fucking dead. He lives.
He's toast. Yeah, he's toast. But nope, he makes it. I love Stu Charno.
He's cool.
Is he in The Wraith too?
I don't think he's in The Wraith, but man,
nope.
You would not be. I would not be surprised if I go back and watch it and he's in the fucking background, like at the diner or the restaurant that they go to where the girls are on the rollerblades. Like, I could totally see him hanging out there by the Christine car.
For some reason, I thought he was part of the bike, or not the bike, the car gang in The Wraith. But I just get him, get a little bit of that and Christine confused.
Maybe he auditioned for Clint Howard's role, and then they're like, well, Clint Howard auditioned, so clearly he's going to get the job. You
lose your race, you lose your car.
Yeah, that was
underrated
good.
As fuck.
Getting a Blu-ray release finally, too.
Thank God, because that movie is definitely underrated as fuck.
You like The Crow? You like the 80s? Watch The Wraith. Thank us later.
Mm-hmm. There's more tits in The Wraith than there are in The Crow. 2, also, just saying, and better music. I already said that once before. I'll die on that hill.
Well, it can't rain all the time.
Gross. But another thing, since we're talking about boobage, is we got to talk a little bit about the actress who plays Sandra, which this is all relatively new to me over the past year, which we kind of discovered this.
Yeah, Colt 45 cued me in on this too, so kudos again to those guys for that information.
That the actress who played Sandra was underage.
Dun, dun, dun.
16 or something, and lied and said she was 18. So they filmed a very extensive sex scene between her and Jeff. And if you look at it, boy, it looks like a Pepsi commercial. She's just sucking on his Adam's apple, and, there's no boobage because you go to prison for showing those boobs. And
I feel horrible because for years I was like, man, how come she didn't have any scenes where stuff like that is shown? And like,
she's attractive, and that's what's weird. You're like, oh God,
no.
You're a child, so that's really weird. And but that's no different than like Tiffany Shepis being in Romeo and Juliet and lying that first of all, she lied that she was like a black belt in karate. They asked her if she could do a karate stunt, and she was like, yeah, I'm a black belt.
That's
hilarious.
Then
she also lied about her age so she could be in that movie. But Tiffany Shepis is, she's as game gets. She's known for being nude a lot of the time. She's got a very extensive catalog of films where she gets nude very matter-of-factly, like Linnea Quigley.
That's hilarious that she's like, yeah, I'm old enough and I know karate.
I am a black belt. You gotta carry around a card that says you're a black belt or some shit.
I am 21 and a current black belt in Taekwondo.
That's right. I never said I was the only world champion.
I said I was the local world champion.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah. So, back to Friday the 13th.
I mean, we're still there. We're just like, we're
just
still
all over the place.
We're still trying to just grasp that concept of that was an underage girl that we at one point were like, man, shame we don't see more of her. And we're like, never mind. And
Yeah, I didn't say that. Don't put me on a list. I didn't say that.
And what's the weirdest aspect is it's like it's almost in a weird way the opposite for like Danielle Harris, because we saw Danielle Harris at like 12, and then we see her in the Halloween remake and today, and now she's very, very flauntly not hardly wearing any clothes, and I'm like, you look great, but there's still like 12%, 15% of me that's like, I knew you when you were a little kid.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Like,
even
very
weird.
pretty, but...
And another weird one that also hit that same spot was the fucking girl from Little Giants. Apparently she's in like the Masters of Sex show or whatever it was, and you get to see all of Icebox, and I'm like...
I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know that I want to see that.
I can provide you with that if...
You might just post that in the Discord, I guess. But that's for everybody, not just for me. And she's of age in these photographs.
yeah, this was
good
in the
Lord.
last couple of years that happened.
Okay.
But going
Thank
back
God,
to that uncomfortable list, that she's a part of the shish kebab kill, which is probably outside of the wheelchair the most well-known kill that's in this movie.
Mm-hmm. And this is where the movie really picks up steam too. I mean, I know we're almost to the end of the podcast, but the movie really, really ramps up when you have the counselors leave to go have their one last night on the town.
Yep.
And then Jason kind of converges on Packanack and starts bumping people off. Like I said at the top of the hour, some off-screen, some just, look at the camera and scream or whatever. But, then there's a handful of really decent kills, namely the shish kebab, the throat slash.
The throat slash from using the wrong side of the knife.
Right. And those are really about the most effect-heavy kills in Friday 2. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, they don't spread it out like evenly across the board. Like, we're just gonna blow our wads on these shots here, and it's cool. Maybe they'll talk about those years down the road, kind of thing. And it fucking worked. I mean, here we are now. How many years past Friday the 13th Part 2? Still talking about where they went all out for these few kills they did.
Yeah, but oddly enough, to me, I think the one that's the most effective, and I know we've talked about this, is the brown panty girl who comes back in looking for Mark, and then kind of goes upstairs looking for Sandra and Jeff, and finds Jason under the sheet, pulling the old Hochstetter, hiding under the blanket on the floor type of deal.
That's where he got that idea.
Yeah, and you just get this POV shot of this hand with these black fingernails holding this butcher knife, just converging on her, and then going out of frame. You see no penetration, you see nothing like that, but the way that she kind of bites her lip and starts bleeding, like, it's really effective. To me, it's like, she backs up as far as she can back up. She's trapped. Jeff's body's behind her. There's a whole lot of emotion going on in that scene, and you don't need a geyser of blood flying at the camera.
I credit whoever casted her, because she has one of the most innocent faces ever. Like, she just has a face where you don't want anything bad to happen to her, because she just looks innocent as shit. Like,
yeah,
you just don't want anything bad to happen to her, and she's unfortunately going to get the worst end of it, a slow death with this fucking knife coming down at you. That you partially you're like, she don't deserve that.
Yeah, she's very sweet in the movie, and it's not like she likes Mark out of pity or anything, you know what I mean?
No, she generally likes him.
Yeah, and so they have this real connection. They like each other. There's not like alcohol involved. They're not like wasted and hooking up.
No, they're playing fucking handheld video games.
yeah, they connect. It's a real, like, it feels like a real connection, and it feels not scripted. It doesn't feel like bullshit, and it's very organic and very sweet. And then they fucking murder her, and the gnarliest part about it is after she's dead and he's dragging her down the steps, just thunk 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 thunk, like, dude, it's so effective. And the Friday the 13th franchise doesn't ever really like sway back to that level of horror, and it's not like, that's not a horrifying scene in the grand scheme of things.
You just don't feel as bad for other characters, and we're gonna have a lot of more people that's gonna get killed. They were like, yeah, they're
just fodder, right? And,
yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that's all a character in a Friday the 13th movie is that gets bumped off. They're just, oh yeah, they're obnoxious or whatever. But those two in particular, Sandra and Jeff, whatever, wheelchair and brown panty.
It's like code.
Yeah.
But they're I guess part of the reason why that chemistry may work so well is because she was genuinely taken by that guy in real life and tried to hook up with him in real life. Apparently he was one of those fellas that just swung the other way. So she was like, well, damn, that didn't work.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's very much the character she played in the movie, because they talk about being on location, and even like her being alone in a cabin, and like some of the cast members scratching and shit on the doors trying to freak her out, and she hyperventilates and passes out. Like, yeah, I don't feel she's acting a great deal in the character she portrays. Like, I feel like it's very much her on the screen there, and she may be the last character in the Friday the 13th franchise that gets killed that we're like, oh man.
Yeah, there aren't many.
I'll have to see. I'm gonna test that. We'll be rewatching, of course, these movies before we finish off the series for refreshers. I'm gonna look and see if there's another character that reaches that level. I'm putting my money on now that I won't find one, but who knows?
I got one. I might as well just bring it out.
No, save it. Save it for when we get to it.
All right, I'll save it. Yeah, but
the Brown Panty Award. Maybe that should be the next thing we give out, the Brown Panty Award for the character that dies that we just didn't want to see go.
Yeah. I'm down with that. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. It just was born out of the blue, the Brown Panty Award.
The Brown Panty.
Out of the brown, if you will.
Yes.
That sounds gross.
They will add. Yes, we officially maybe added a new game. If we can remember it, we were recorded for part 3. We will make it an official part of the game. Is who wins the Brown Panty
on your notebook
Award.
and journal.
Yeah,
Write that shit down. The Brown Panty Award.
Well, we did spend nearly an hour kind of gushing and rambling about things in this movie, surrounding this movie, yada yada. But I suppose that means it's time to move on to the next segment. So, Evil, where are we going? What are we doing?
Well, we've seen the good side. We've talked about all the things that are fun about this movie. We sidetracked a great deal, but we shine a pretty light on Friday the 13th Part 2. But sometimes that light can burn a little too bright, can burn a little harshly. You can maybe see things you don't want to see. And sometimes...
Too close to the sun, baby.
Yeah, sometimes you get a little too close to the sun and get scorched. So, we can't leave until we scorch Friday the 13th Part 2 a little bit. So that means it's time we check out the Amazon 1-star reviews.
Hated it.
All right. Oh boy. If you recall, it was a good while ago. We did a video on our YouTube channel where we read some Friday the 13th Part 2 1-star reviews live and in person. So I don't know. I didn't go back to rewatch to see if these are rehashed, but I just grabbed some anyway. So we're just gonna go with it. So Pam B. on September 12th.
Like Plan B.
Pam B.
Plan B.
Not Plan B. Pam B.
All right.
You say Abe Blinken? No, I said, hey, Blinken. September 12th, 2018. 1 star. Not happy. Order was placed by accident. Then I could not cancel it. So basically, paid for this, but I did not want this item.
Just embrace it.
Oh, fuck, I couldn't. How do I cancel right there, Part 2. Oh, shit, it's on its way. I can't return it. Where am I going to return something in 2018? It cost me $100 to return something.
That's a $100 label.
Yeah.
They don't put no bourbon on it or nothing.
Did you just say I got to spend $100 to send back Friday the 13th Part 2? You don't put a gold wrapper around it or nothing? Pam B not happy she got this movie and had to pay for it, apparently. All right, next up we got Stefan Hayes on May 25th, 2010.
Woo! God damn.
Yeah, how do you feel about that being 11 years ago?
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
All right, so we'll just say 1 star. Once again, Paramount. ... This review is for this format release only. This classic Steve Miner film is given nothing by the transfer to Blu-ray. Do not waste your cash. The special edition DVD actually has better picture quality, more homage to the screen quality of 1981. We got a cinephile on our hands.
Not happy about the cinematic grain. It's not cleaned up as much as I wanted it to be.
Just wait for the 4K release, sir.
Oh boy, yeah. Go ahead.
All right, next up we got E. Barrios on August 23rd, 2007. 1 star. You got to be kidding. I can't believe Paramount has the you-know-what to release these 2 classics in their butchered versions again. What the hell is it with them already? Die Hard, Friday the 13th fans are ready to open their wallets for an uncut pressing of these films. What's the matter, Paramount? You not feeling well? If it weren't for the fact that they control Star Trek, I would have boycotted them a long time ago. Thankfully, I own a PAL release of the first movie, which was distributed by Warner. It's great. Go and get yourself a copy while you're at it. Get a multi-region player as well so you can watch the DVD. Let me go before I say something I'll regret.
That dude's just salty that he didn't get Star Mummy.
I like that he's like, I would boycott this shit if it wasn't for Star Trek anchoring me. Fucking albatross around my neck. Next on up, we got William M. Goodwin on April 29th, 2002.
Good God.
1 star. Will the real Jason please stand up and die? Well, here we go again with sequels. Friday the 13th should have ended with this one. What is the point of making more sequels for a movie like this? Except to getting people into buying them. I mean, how many different ways can our pal Jason hack up dopey teenagers? Very Jersey lingo there. Dopey.
Dopey.
How many more?
Dopey, fuck you.
How many more times is he going to come back to life? Once.
This is his first time.
Once would have been enough. This was it. Once again, get imaginative, Mr. Producers, Director, Film Company. Need I make a suggestion?
More?
Well,
Fucking dildo.
all right. I don't know how I'm going to convey how this is said here, but this is from Chris on November 3rd, 2003.
No relation.
I don't know that guy. Awful. It's awful, but it has, I'm going to just say 28 exclamation points behind it.
Lord.
Worst movie ever. These were certainly a carbon copy of the terrific Halloween movies, just not good.
Shush it.
he's a Halloween fan.
That's fine. That's fine. You could be a Halloween fan.
That's cool. Not here.
Yeah, whatever.
This is camp time. Come back in the fall, fucker.
Yeah.
All right. Last up, we got good old Don. Kudos for getting the name Don on your Amazon review. Just Don. On September 24th, 2012, old Don says, 1 star. Oh no, it's Mr. Potato Sackhead. I love the original Friday the 13th. It was absolutely terrifying. It had a great backstory, great scary moments, cool creepy villain and Mrs. Voorhees, and somewhat believable setting. But, oh my word, part 2 stinks to high heaven. As do the rest of the Friday the 13th movies after the first film, Jason was never scary. But in this film, he's not only unscary, he is a total joke. Who the hell would be afraid of some big oaf with a potato sack over his head? It's just stupid.
An entire generation of movie watchers, you fuck.
This entire movie is stupid. Why was this ever even made? They never should have made any sequels to Friday the 13th. They should have ended it with the original because that's the only good one in the series.
Fine. Wow, that person was grumpy Gus, man.
That's someone who just does not like potato sacks. And I wonder what how his order of movies watched. Because yeah, he's bitching about, will they quit bringing this guy back? And this is part 2.
What the hell?
That's the same guy that's like bitches at a restaurant. I've been coming here for 20 years. We've only been open 10, sir.
Is that the end of the Amazon 1-star reviews, Evil?
That is all the 1-star reviews I have for Friday the 13th Part 2 today. If you want more, check out our 1-star video that is a standalone in our YouTube section if you want some more 1-stars read in person next to Roger reacting for the first time. You can't hear him, but you can see him.
Excellent plug.
I do that.
So, well, now that we're done with our Amazon 1-star reviews, I guess it's time to move on to the last segment.
The last segment, the final segment. Again, it's not Hammer time. It's not Vader time. But it is time to play the game.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
It's all about the game, and how you play it. It's all about, I don't know, sackhead coming to get me.
Oh, Sackhead, baby. Brief plot synopsis of the prop game is you have to pick a prop from the film, but it cannot be an obvious prop. You gotta pick something that isn't considered a deep cut, something low on the totem pole. You can't take Jason's sack mask.
Be unique, goddammit.
Be unique, be different, and, get a little something from the movie that's weird, that you like. So, I think I went first. No, I didn't go first last time.
No, yeah, I went first last time, so you go first this time.
Oh, boy. There's a couple of things.
Say, unless you want me to go first, because I have mine. And I've already mentioned mine a little bit, and I love my weird-ass shit one.
I got a couple ideas kind of floating around in the old noggin, but I think I'm gonna keep this crotch related because I believe in the first one I picked Kevin Bacon's Speedo. So for this movie, I think I'm gonna pick Vicky's crotch perfume.
Oh, the perfume, not the panties itself.
Not the panties themselves, just her hoo-ha spray. You know, the old fish or fresh fish spray, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
The fish spray. Dayfly eggs.
Hey, that is good.
That's a cut for next week. But man, I thought where you're leading with, you're like, oh, he's taking the panties. He's taking the brown panties. But no, once the perfume. That's excellent. That's what this game was built for, is prop picks like that.
And then just imagine coming down into the video store. You're like, what is that splendiferous odor? And I'm like, oh,
Pussy.
It's, Friday. Yeah, that's Friday the 13th 2's pussy spray.
That's you need to spit tobacco before you're like, pussy. Smells almost as good as a new car.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that is Jersey talk right there.
Fuck you then, bitch.
No offense to any of our listeners who are from or around, in or around Jersey.
Definitely leave comments or something if you're a Jersey listener, and I would love to know we have a Jersey listener. Again, like we said last week, if you have any Friday the 13th related stories or things you want to tell about your experiences with these movies, shoot them to us through email some way or another, and we will tell your tales, play your audio, something. Like we want to hear any listeners' stories on their experiences seeing these movies for the first time, or just oddball stories you may have. Definitely tell us. If you're from Jersey and seeing Friday the 13th, tell us about it.
All right, Evil. So it's up to you. It's your prop now.
My prop now. I was toying with the idea of taking the hammer for a little bit. I thought the hammer would be a cool one, because that's just a goofy kill to me, the face the sheriff has when he's hit with that fucking claw hammer. But I can't. But just because it makes no fucking sense to me, and I'd love to have it just to tell the story, I want that fucking toilet that's in his shack.
Dude, you know what I really was worried about when I knew we were going to cover this? I really thought both of us were going to pick Mark's handheld games.
No, it didn't even come close to enter my mind. That's like
the one with the puck.
Oh, God. Yeah, I was leaning a little bit towards the hammer, and I was like, why does he have a toilet in this thing? It's like, that's the dumbest shit. I want Jason Shitter. The one time,
I love that.
The one time Jason Voorhees is taking a shit is in this thing. It's like, I want that. That's touch Voorhees' butt cheeks.
Oh my God, that's fucking comedy gold. I could see just a random toilet over in the corner of your set. Like, what is that? That's where Jason takes shits.
The sidebar, we actually have an old toilet that we had in the house that we took out. And we actually put it outside on the side of the house and put it as like a makeshift flower pot and put plants and shit in it. But I think since then those plants have died out. So I could bring that toilet back in here. And if I end up
hose it out?
Yeah, hose it all out, clean it up, and then make it look dirty. And then get me a flimsy-ass mannequin and dress it like Sackhead and just sit him on that fucking toilet. Overalls around his ankles and shit.
Reading a Fangoria, taking a fucking big old greasy shit.
There's my prop to make for the basement. Just I can work on making that. Like I'm gonna make a true to life Friday the 13th Jason taking a shit.
It's not Jason Takes Manhattan.
Nope.
Jason Takes Miralaxin.
Jason has had several tacos, and he had it in a tub taco night. Taco Bell, chalupas. He's got a burrito supreme hollering back at him, so he's gonna be a little while.
He also had a bran muffin or a dog muffin, whatever you want.
3 bran muffins and 1 strong cup of coffee.
Yeah, all bullshit aside, I do think that that whole thing with him jumping through the window, I think that's all bullshit. I think Muffin did get fucking eaten. Because that's when they show that dead dog, that's not a flashback.
That dog doesn't even look eaten. It looks like it ate a hand grenade and blew up.
Jason dumped fucking like Drano down its mouth.
That dog exploded.
I've seen way worse dead dog props, man. I should have took fucking the Muffin dog prop. That should have been my fucking
That's
prop.
in pieces and shit, man. It looks kind of like the cat that is fucking fried in Christmas Vacation. Like, oh my God.
Oh, that's glorious. But all right, I've done my prop. You've done your prop, and I suppose if you're listening, find us on social media. If you're a Patreon, comment. Let us know what prop you would take from this movie. Also, if you're a Patreon, you can request that we cover certain movies. But it's going to be a hot minute because we are trudging through
We're still
Crystal Lake.
We're still at the tip, but we're going to be getting shaft deep here till we keep going. We will not falter. We're going to continue on the Deep Cut podcast that we burn through every Friday the 13th movie, including the Versus, including the reboot, and we're going to wrap it all up talking about the game that came out a few years ago and how much we love playing it. So we'll be 13 episodes at Camp Blood. Live it, love it, enjoy it.
All right, guys, and I suppose on that note, we should probably get going because, after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Where is Paul?